The wind howled through the dense forest, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decay. Night had fallen, and the moon's pale glow filtered through the thick canopy of trees, casting long, twisted shadows across the forest floor. Bound tightly to a sturdy oak, my hands and feet were lashed together with ropes so tight that they bit into my skin. I could feel the cold seeping into my bones, but that was the least of my concerns. My breath came in ragged gasps as the realization dawned upon me there would be no escape this time. It was because of him. His lies, his manipulation, his betrayal. As I hung there, the cruel laughter of those who left me echoed in my ears. They didn't care about my pleas, my desperate cries for mercy. No, they only cared about one thing: honor in their twisted sense. And I have been the scapegoat, the one to bear the weight of crimes I never committed, all because of him, the man I had once trusted with my life. But trust was a fickle thing. He had spun his web of deceit so masterfully that even I, the closest to him, had fallen into it. That night, as the darkness crept deeper into the woods and the bitter chill gnawed at my soul, I waited. Every breath I took felt like it could be my last, but death did not come swiftly. Time stretched on in agonizing slowness. My mind raced, filled with thoughts of revenge and the burning anger that flared in my chest. Would they come back to check if I had perished? Would he? Days turned into nights, and the world around me faded. My body was weak, my lips cracked and parched from thirst. I could feel the life draining from me, but something inside held on, a force stronger than the ropes that bound me. My heart refused to yield. I would not die this way, not without taking him down with me. And then, when I was on the edge of oblivion, something happened. A strange force, something unexplainable, flowed through me. The tree I had been tied to, its ancient bark rough against my skin, began to hum with an energy I had never felt before. Roots tangled around my feet, not to bind me further, but to cradle me. The earth beneath me seemed to pulse with life, and suddenly, I was no longer bound by mere ropes. A surge of power coursed through me as the ropes snapped like twine. I fell to the ground, gasping for air. My body, once frail and near death, began to mend. I could feel it, every broken fiber, every torn muscle, knitting itself back together, stronger than before. I wasn't the same. I had been reborn. The forest had given me new life, but it had also taken something from me. The kindness I once harbored was gone. All that remained was a burning hunger for vengeance. Weeks passed as I regained my strength, mastering the new abilities that had been bestowed upon me. I could hear the whispers of the trees, feel the heartbeat of the forest. The wind carried secrets to me, guiding my path as I hunted down those who had wronged me. But my mind was fixated on one person: Tim. He was the reason they had left me to die. He had spun the tale that led them to believe I had betrayed them, and I was the one responsible for the raid that cost them everything. But I knew the truth. He had orchestrated it all, hiding behind a mask of loyalty, while he plotted to take everything for himself. When I finally emerged from the forest, no one recognized me. My hair had turned as black as the night sky. My skin had grown pale from my time in the shadows, but my eyes still held the fire of the vengeance that now consumed me. I was no longer the woman they had left behind. I was something more, something they would fear. I tracked them down one by one, those who had laughed as they left me tied to that tree, their faces twisted in horror when they saw me, a ghost from their past. But I was no mere spectre. I was flesh and blood, and I made sure they felt the pain they had caused me. Each scream, each plea for mercy fell on deaf ears. I had shown them mercy once, never again. Finally, there was only him left. I found him in the grand hall of his estate, surrounded by the wealth he had accumulated through his treachery. He sat on his throne, a smug smile on his face, completely unaware of the storm that was about to descend upon him. As I stepped into the room, he looked up, his smile faltered, his eyes widening in shock as he recognized me. For a moment, he was speechless, frowned by the sight of the woman he thought was long dead. "You," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Yes," I replied, my voice cold as ice. "Because of you, they bound me to that tree. Because of you, I was left to perish." He stood, attempting to regain his composure, but I could see the fear in his eyes. "It wasn't personal," he stammered. "It was business. You must understand." I laughed, a dark, hollow sound that echoed through the hall. "It was personal to me." With a flick of my wrist, The very earth beneath us trembled. Roots sprang from the ground, wrapping around his ankles, pulling him to his knees. He struggled, but it was no use. His power, his wealth, his influence, none of it mattered now. "You took everything from me," I said, my voice barely more than a whisper. "Now, I will take everything from you." He screamed as the roots tightened around him, but it was a futile sound. No one would save him, just as no one had saved me. As I walked away from his lifeless body, I felt no remorse, no regret, only satisfaction. The ties that had once bound me were broken, and I was free. But with the freedom came the realization that my vengeance had not truly satisfied the hunger inside me. Something darker had taken root, something far more dangerous than I had ever anticipated.